بعث الندى وترنمت قصص الهوى وتسربت ريح الصفا لقراري وتمايلت ورد الصبا وتناثرت سحب المنى.
Now, I am very involved with AI on multiple levels, on a development level as well as on a consulting level to the corporate world and to non-profit organizations, but also on a development level, because I'm heading up development of a new education-based AI for my college. It's called Kaitlen, Kaitlen. My company's name is Kylix. So it's Kylix AI tool for learning enhancement. Basically, the best way I can describe it is it creates customized learning pathways for every student. So it takes a curriculum and it shapes it to your needs. Now, I'll give you an example where that is necessary. An easy example is mathematics. Maths is a cumulative subject, meaning what you learn in grade 1 carries over in grade 2, carries over in grade 5. And if you miss anything in between, it's a broken link. So a lot of times we see that kids are struggling in grade 9 maths or grade 10 maths, but it's not that they don't know their maths or they're weak. It's that they forgot some concepts in grade 6 or 7. So if you, for example, you forgot multiplication of fractions and you want to do binomial equations later down the line, it's just going to be extremely difficult. So this system, Kaitlen, will detect that. It'll detect that there's a student struggling with something, and it'll detect what, and then it'll reroute and say, right, okay, you know what, you rather go back to module 3 because we covered this concept over there. And so the student can go and study. We find this is crucially important because of the country we're living in. You know, every educational institute treats students like sheep. When you go to a varsity college or the universities or anywhere, it's like you have to sit there and you have to toe the line with everybody else. There's no customization. Yet you got a child coming from a township, you got a child coming from deep rural Eastern Cape, you got a child coming from a Model C school. They're all on different levels. So we're disadvantaging those kids by putting them all on one level. So what we did was we came up with this solution. It's still under construction, and it's going to be filled out quite impressively because it'll also be able to tell us, my support crew, that certain student, SIPO for example, is an at-risk student. He is not doing too well. He's not consistent with his lessons. He is struggling when he does come. When he doesn't, it takes 2 days off, 3 days. So it'll flag them. So we can report to our funders, because we get a lot of funding. We get a lot of bursary funding. So it's important for us to know this information here. Now, this is not easy to do in a classroom situation, but in an online situation, it lends itself. So I'm just giving you a sense of the potential uses of AI in education, because many of you being ulama, I'm assuming, are in education. And whenever I spoke, like about 3 weeks back, I spoke at the Ulama Development Forum about AI. The vast majority of questions were around education. So this is just one way that we are using AI in education. But what do I want to talk to you about? So I'm not going to give you a waz. I'm not going to promote AI. I'm not going to sort of diss the whole concept of AI. I'm going to give you facts. We'll have an academic discussion now, and I'll tell you everything I know about AI. Well, not every, the most important things about AI. And then you can make your own decisions from there, and we can have a discussion afterwards. Around about 5:05, I'll stop, and then we can do questions. Okay, so let's dive into it. What is artificial intelligence? First and foremost, this is something for us to understand as leaders in our communities. Look, before I go there, I just want to, one disclaimer. When it comes to technology, it's our responsibility to know it, whether we are using it or not. Now, I had discussions with Ulama and of different levels and calibers, young, old, and some are very anti-technology, and rightly so. I respect that. I don't have anything against that. But my trouble is I can't sleep at night because of those people out there. I'm not using it; they are using it. How can I give them guidance if I don't know how to use it? If I don't know its pros and cons and ups and downs? I'm talking about our kids. I'm talking about the next generation and the one after that. These people are at it all the time. You know that. We all know that. So if you're learning tech, fine, don't accept tech. Don't use it. If you're not comfortable with it, don't. But learn it. Know it. You know, saying one of the rules of war, know thy enemy. Sun Tzu's Art of War. Know it in and out, so that you can protect those that need to be protected. Because the ummah is lost when it comes to this whole concept of AI. Okay, so I disclaimer done. I'm coming back to the description of AI. AI, first and foremost, I want to start with a bit of an anticlimax. There is no such thing as artificial intelligence anywhere on this planet at all. It's simulated intelligence, but they gave it a good marketing name. You know, the West, artificial intelligence. Now, what is that? Intelligence, true intelligence comes from where? It comes from the Ruh. It comes from Allah Ta'ala. He gives intelligence. Right? Now, Insan's hubris is like this, that he made something quite neat and nifty, and now he says he feels like he's God. He feels like, he became a God. That's Insan's hubris. And whenever we saw that in past nations, they always fell. So it is simulated intelligence. So it's computer code that behaves as if there's some intelligence going on behind the scenes. But there's no real intelligence. I didn't bring my laptop. I can open my laptop and show you this is what artificial intelligence code looks like. Code that I wrote or I found somewhere on my team. So it's just very simple computer code, but it can do some amazing things. I'm not denying what it's capable of, especially the pop star of current AI, large language models, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a type of what we call a large language model of artificial intelligence. But there's so many different, there's over a dozen different types of artificial intelligence. You've got facial recognition, you've got pattern recognition, robotics. So there's lots of different types of AI. Now, because ChatGPT is the most accessible to us, we know that. But everywhere we look, there's AI. There's another type of AI, for example, called expert systems. Expert systems operate machinery. You know, when you in a plane and the pilot puts it into autopilot, guess who's piloting? It's AI, right? Or simulated intelligence. So that's the first thing we need to remember as ulama, that there is no such thing as artificial intelligence. And I'm going to circle back to this later, and you'll see why I'm saying this. The second thing is, let's go into a little bit of history of AI, right? Where did AI come from? Now, AI is made up of basically three components. One is what we spoke about, computer code. The other is logic, right? And the third one is semantics, linguistics, right? So, I mean, I'm talking specifically about a large language model like ChatGPT. But you'll be surprised to know that all of these concepts actually came from the Muslim world. I mean, if you look at the whole subject of logic, mantik, we invented it. We took it from the Greeks, some broken system of logic, and we refined it and we presented it to the world. Then you look at algorithms. Algorithms were invented by an alim also, Muhammad ibn Musa al-Kharizmi. Now, one alim corrected me and said, Khwarizmi. Okay, I'll give him that. Tajweed and all. But I say Kharizmi because when you say Kharizmi, it's easier to make my point, which is his name is now applied to algorithms. So if you say the kh and you take the kh and you make it into g, and you drop off that trailing I or the ya, algorithmy, right? It becomes algorithm. So today, every computer on this planet, whether it's a big computer, a small computer, embedded machine, a watch, a phone, this thing irritating me now with messages, these run algorithms. And the whole concept of algorithms was invented by Muhammad ibn Musa al-Kharizmi. And then linguistics. When you look at linguistics also, the study of language. Now, I'm not talking about Nahu Sarf and Balagha. That's different. That's also that comes under linguistics. But there's another study in linguistics, which is why do certain arrangements of words make more sense than others? Why do certain arrangements of words have more impact than others? So, for example, if you take in the Quran, Inna Allah huwa sami'ul alim. See, there's a ta'keed over there. Why? Why does that? So, why does that? So, you got ulama like Abdul Qahir al-Jurjani, who went very deep into studying the ma'ani, the arrangement of words. So, you're reading a poem, for example. You go home, you tell your wife, you're pretty. Versus you go home, you tell your wife, you are like a beautiful rose on a spring morning. She'll cry, right? Try it. So why does one affect the other? Why is some language more beautiful, more fluent, more eloquent? Like in English, you got Shakespeare. Is Shakespeare objectively better, or is just somebody's opinion? Now, if you look at the Quran, so Allama Jurjani did his study on the Quran itself, and he came up with the Kitab Dalailul Ijaz fil Quran al-Kareem, the proofs of the miracle of the Quran. So in that, he did a very detailed study of how you don't have to look beyond the wording of the Quran, just the arrangements of words to see the miracle of the Quran. You know, the Quran is layer upon layer of miracles, but just the language and the arrangements of the words, it's beautiful. I would love to go into examples of that, but brevity. So those concepts came from the Muslim world, and what we did with AI is that we combined it all with modern technology. AI as a subject has been around since the 1950s, but we didn't have the computing power. The computing power at that time was less than even a cheap cell phone. We didn't have enough data because AI thrives. We teach AI with data, tons and tons of data. They say ChatGPT was trained on like 16 billion gigabytes of data. So now you fed all that data, you fed all that writing, Shakespeare and whoever, and then you taught it these rules of linguistics. And what it spits out now is a kind of a summation of all those words, right? So just to give you an example, if you say to it, write me a sentence like Shakespeare, it goes through the rules. Now, Shakespeare wrote in a particular way, right? It's called iambic pentameter. You know, in English, we talk like this. The boy went to the shop. If you listen carefully, our English, it fluctuates. It is a weak sound and a strong sound. And in Arabic, there's no such thing as that. So anyways, this thing learned all those rules. I mean, it didn't learn. They taught it all those rules. That's why that's where the name comes from. GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. Pre-trained, meaning somebody taught it. Right. So there's that. Now all this gives us this one type of AI. Then you got diagnostic AI, you got facial recognition AI, you got robotics AI. It's all over. So now you know the history and how it does, well, basically how it does what it does. The next thing is, and now I'm going to circle back to what I mentioned about there's no such thing as artificial intelligence. You see, a hot topic these days is this idea of a sentient AI that suddenly starts to think by itself, that suddenly it becomes alive. It becomes alive. Now, this is serious Aqidah issues here, because that Aql comes from the ruh, and the ruh comes from Allah. There's no negotiating that. So we as Muslims can never even think about, we can't even entertain that thought that this AI is going to become sentient. Again, it's the hubris sentient. Again, it's the hubris of insan, and also the desperation of insan, because for hundreds of years he's trying to prove that Allah doesn't exist. Charles Darwin, Darwin's theories are all fallen apart. Even Western scientists are telling us now that in light of what we know about modern biology, just the structure of the cell and the DNA, there's no way this evolution ever happened. So now if they can't prove it there, they have to prove it another way. So if we created one living artificial intelligence, then we become gods again. So they were gods in their heads at one stage with evolution. That fell down. Now they kind of get godhood again. So now, Zubillah, there's no such thing as sentient AI, and AI will never become sentient. Yes, it's going to become more and more powerful. But here's my theory now. Here's my theory. I told you I'm going to give you facts, but now I'm going to give you my theory. My theory is this, that a time will come when AI's progress is going to level out, it's going to plateau. For the simple reason that AI uses a lot of computing power. A lot of computing power. You need computers that are super powerful. And you'll notice that when ChatGPT came out, there was a big hype and it was improving, and then suddenly it slowed down. Improving, and then suddenly it slowed down. All right, it's going to go up a little, it's going to go up. But I believe a time is going to come when there's not going to be enough computing power in the world to run this AI. And plus, there's other reasons. So AI is not going to, I feel it's something that's overestimated. Bitcoin, NFTs, I warned people. For those of you who listen on Channel Islam, Radio Islam, I used to be there. Be careful of this thing. There's some very artificial, inflated prices of Bitcoin. There's no get rich. Those are good technologies, but they were abused. So it's the same with AI. So that's the second thing. Now, the third thing that, am I going too fast? No. Because I have so much to say and I'm conscious of the time. The third thing about AI is that, okay, now that I got these things out of the way, the third thing is the philosophy behind AI, the current AI, right? Let's take ChatGPT. ChatGPT was built by a company called OpenAI, the founder of which is Sam Altman. Now, Sam Altman is a leftist. He is openly gay. He's part of the postmodernist movement, the woke movement. Now, if you create something like that and you are putting it out into the world, obviously, and this you and I will do also, we'll infuse it with our philosophy. I would do that. So he did that. So that's why when you're using ChatGPT, you try to bring up sensitive topics like homosexuality, LGBT, and you say anything negative, it fights back at you. It won't give you an answer. Speak about Palestine, it fights back. Why? Because there's a certain philosophy behind the scenes, and it's contradictory to our philosophy in Islam. So let's not be surprised by all that. All I'm saying is, you want to use it. We use it all the time. At work, we use ChatGPT all the time to write articles, to do copy for adverts. This thing is brilliant. But when you get into sensitive topics, then you're going to see that it's going to divert. And it's all the usual suspects: LGBT, feminism, the Palestine Zionism, and the Palestine issue. All of those things, it's trained in a certain way. So I think we need to make our communities aware of this. That don't rely on it for that. Just don't. It's not reliable. They've got a certain philosophy. Right. So now, is AI useful or not? Can we use it in our daily lives? The answer that I'll give you is this: you are already using it. Whether you like it or not, you are using it. It's a beautiful technology. That I will give you. The way we are using it in my school, alhamdulillah, it's just doing miracles for us. The way we use it in my marketing department, my sales department, accounts, everybody's using it within those parameters. It's beautiful. See, keywords within those parameters. And this is what we need to encourage our communities, that technology is a beautiful thing within certain parameters. Out of that parameter, suddenly, now you're going into dangerous area. Like you're asking ChatGPT for a masla, for a fiqhi masla. Wrong, you don't do that. This thing is unreliable. They say it themselves. ChatGPT makes mistakes. Please consult an expert. So just show them that disclaimer over there. Print it out one day on Jummah Bayan and show them, see, this is what ChatGPT is saying. We're not saying that. So when it comes to sensitive topics, avoid ChatGPT. When it comes to using it for things like research, business, etc., by all means, go. But also verify, because it makes mistakes. I found it making basic maths mistakes, multiplication mistakes, and historical mistakes also. It does that. They say ChatGPT is getting stupider rather than more intelligent, and I believe that. Right? So just be careful. Where else are we using AI? When we use on our phones, we use this Face ID or Touch ID. That's all artificial intelligence. That's how artificial intelligence. That's how it's recognizing our faces. There's AI behind the scenes when you're using the voice assistant. Hey, phone mom or phone the wife. Send message the wife. That voice recognition, how it's recognizing your voice is through AI. So it's through AI. So it's a very useful and a powerful tool. Can we use it for things like research into Islamic sciences, Islamic fields, tafsir, fiqh? No, I wouldn't advise it. Look, if you are reading a kitab, you want the tarjama of a word, you want the root letters. If you're lazy to go to Hans Weyer, go to ChatGPT. It's okay. Most of the time, it gives you some good advice. Sometimes you come across some heavy words now, so you're thinking, what are the roots now? So you're thinking, what are the root letters of this word here? Is it waliya, or is it mithal, ajwaf, naqis? So it tells you that. So you can use it for that, but that's not critical research. But always follow that up. Then, as far as our communities goes, there are a few things that I want to make you alert to. Right, one is that when it comes to security issues, remember these things are listening all the time. Don't be surprised. They are listening. They're listening to me right now, because I can just say, hey, SIRI, and it activates, right? Because it's listening. Have you not experienced that sometimes there's just a conversation happening, like, you said to the wife, I think we need a new car. Next thing you go and you see all car adverts. They're listening, right? If you're not comfortable with that, keep it away somewhere at home. Some people have to have it all the time, everywhere. In the palang you must have it, on the table you must have it, the restaurant you must have it, swimming you must have it. They make waterproof phones. Why do you need a waterproof phone? Maybe if you drop it. So maybe sometimes it's nice to just separate from it and go and take a nature trail, do some murataba, do some zikr. It's very distracting. When I'm working, I don't have this thing anyway. This scrolling on these short form videos, it's very addictive. One youngster was telling me that he spends sometimes 5 hours at a time just scrolling short form videos. 5 hours, how much of money scrolling short form videos? 5 hours, how much of money you could have made in that time? Okay, I'm very dunya. I got dunya in my head. You probably think how much zikr, how much tilawat. But whatever your priority, I was talking to an alim today also, good friend of mine. He said, see, the amount of time we spend quarreling with each other, how much of money we could have made in that time. So I say, see, you and I, we got that karobar, businessman mentality. So I think that's a danger point. That's a danger point. We need to make people aware how to use it correctly, and we should instill in our kids how to use this AI and social media technology in general. Use it within those parameters. Use it for benefit, and then when you're done, it takes discipline. Close it, walk away from it, because this thing is going to take up your most valuable asset, which is your time. That time we know will never come back. That time that people are wasting on this. So that is some guidelines from me on usage. particularly when it comes to kids. Now, the problem when I say kids with my white beard is that when I'm talking about kids, I'm talking about those people that I was teaching when I was Imam in 2001, 2002. Now they are mothers and fathers themselves. But for me, they are still kids. Now they are the tech generation. We must understand, and I see a lot of young faces here. You are born in a time where you don't know life without technology. Do some of you even know what's a wind-up window in a car? One night he asked me, we were sat in one olden days car, he said, what's this thing over here? Where's the button? I want to open the window. Looking for button, bichara. So this generation didn't know a life without technology. Driving from Durban to Johannesburg, stop in a garage, find a payphone, mommy, I'm in Harrisburg, mommy, now you just text and move. So we know that life. They don't know that life. So we need to guide them as to its usage. And I think the most important principle in this is within those parameters. Use it for good, use it for your benefit. Use it for good, use it for your benefit. When you're done, put it away. It takes a lot of discipline to do that, especially with the younger generation, because with them it's not just AI, it's social media, it's gaming, it's videos. They are very, very into all of that.
أحبتي في صبحها بمسائها برحيلها بقرار